Good afternoon, all of you. So now we are going to discuss another important step in RDNA technology, that is selection of transformer cells from the non-transformer cells, right? So what is transformation? Transformer cell. See, it is a transformation is a procedure by which insertion of foreign genetic material into host cell cytoplasm called a transformation process. See, transformed cell is nothing but rDNA molecule or PBR322 vector containing cell is considered as transformed cell. See, for the selection of the transformed cells from the non-transformed cells, so we are using some methods. So in that, first method is selectable markers. So by using selectable markers or antibiotic resistant genes, easily we will select transformed cells from the non-transformed cells. But it is cumbersome procedure or hard procedure compared to other technique, right? So scientists create some other techniques or alternative techniques for the selection of transformed cells from the non-transformed cells. So in that, second method is in-sessional inactivation. In-sessional inactivation. See, first method is selectable markers. By using selectable markers or antibiotic resistant genes, see the transformed cells separated from the non-transformed cells. The selected transformed cells from the non-transformed cells by using antibiotic resistant genes are selectable markers in first method. But second method is in-sessional inactivation, right? So in in-sessional inactivation method, so based on the ability to produce color, easily, we will separate recombinant cells from the non-recombinant cells, right? So recombinant cells separated from the non-recombinant cells based on the ability to produce color, right? But how so? So in this method, we are using PUC19 vectors. So what type of vectors we are using here? So PUC19. So that PUC19 vector also consists of antibiotic resistant genes. What type of antibiotic resistant genes? One is ampicillin resistant gene and another one is tetracycline resistant gene, right? So this is PUC19 vector, imagine PUC19 vector. So in that PUC19 vector, it is ampicillin resistant gene and it is tetracycline resistant gene. So in addition to those selectable markers, it has B-Gal sequence. B-Gal sequence. So what is B-Gal sequence? So beta galactosidase enzyme sequence. So it means beta galactosidase enzyme producing sequence located in PUC19. So in PUC19 vector, in addition with ORSI, in addition with ROB gene, in addition with selectable markers, it has B-Gal sequence. What is B-Gal sequence? Beta galactosidase enzyme sequence. It means beta galactosidase enzyme producing DNA segment located in PUC19 vector, right? Then we selected foreign genetic material also. Foreign gene or desirable DNA. So we need to insert the desirable DNA or gene at the place of beta galactosidase enzyme. So by using restriction endonuclease enzymes, right, both PUC19 and desirable genetic material fragmented. After fragmentation process, so the desirable DNA inserted into the PUC19 vector at the place of B-Gal sequence. Right? So when we insert the desirable DNA at the place of beta galactosidase enzyme sequence, so that sequence completely inactivated. Is it clear? So when we insert desirable DNA at the place of beta galactosidase enzyme sequence in PUC19 vector, right, then B-Gal sequence completely inactivated due to insertion of foreign genetic material, right? We call it as in-sessional inactivation process. So is it clear? In-sessional inactivation. What is in-sessional inactivation here? When we insert desirable DNA at the place of B-Gal sequence, so that B-Gal sequence completely inactivated. So we call it as in-sessional inactivation, right? So in this method also, two types of vectors are formed, right? So two types of vectors are formed in this method also. What are they, sir? See, some vectors have insets, right? So some vectors have insets. Some vectors do not have any insets. See, some vectors have inset, some vectors do not have any inset. So we call them as altered vector and unaltered vectors. So which one is altered vector? This is altered vector, right? So this is unaltered vector, right? So that altered and unaltered vectors, both of them contains ampicillin resistant gene and tetracycline resistant gene, right? Where exactly we inserted foreign theoretic material? At B-Gall sequence, not antibiotic resistant gene, right? Done. See, this altered vector and unaltered vectors, both of them are resistant to antibiotics like ampicillin and tetracycline. So these two types of vectors again transferred into the host cells or bacterial cells. Transferred into the bacterial cells. So what will happen? Three types of bacterial cells will form. So three types of bacterial cells will form here. So one is transformed cell with altered or unaltered, right? Transformed cell with altered vector. Second one is transformed cell with unaltered vector. And third one, non-transformed cell. It do not have any inset, right? That type of bacterial cells do not have any vector or foreign genetic material. These are non-transformed cells. Not only so, this is transformed cell with altered vector, right? Second one is transformed cell with unaltered vector. Third one is non-transformed cell. Non-transformed cell, right? So these three types of cells, bacterial cells, transferred into the ex-Gall medium. It means these three types of bacterial cells transferred to the Petri plate or Petri dish, which contains ex-Gall medium. Otherwise, better to take agarose medium first. Nutrient medium plus, and another one is ampicillin. Right? See here, it is nutrient medium plus ampicillin. Ampicillin antibiotic and nutrient medium. Okay, right? So these three types of bacterial cells: transformed cells with unaltered vector, altered vector, transformed cells with unaltered vector, non-transformed cells. These three types of bacterial cells transferred to the nutrient medium which contains ampicillin, right? So what will happen in this Petri plate? So it is altered vector containing bacterial cell, and it is unaltered vector containing bacterial cell, and this is non-transformed cells, right? So which type of bacterial cells can survive in this Petri plate, and which type of bacterial cells leads to death? Yes, so that non-transformed cells completely eliminates in Petri plate. But these both transformed cells can survive. Both transformed cells can survive, but non-transformed cells completely eliminates in ampicillin medium. But in these two bacterial cells, which type of bacterial cells we require? So above one, that is recombinant bacteria containing transformed cell, right? Then see, again the two types of bacterial cells transferred to the another Petri plate which contains ex-Gall chemical substance. So what is ex-Gall chemical substance? One of the chromogenic substance it is ex-Gall plus nutrient medium. So ex-Gall is nothing but one type of chemical, right? Chromogenic substance. Chromogenic substance means coloring agent. Coloring agent. Okay, right? That extra chromogenic substance plus nutrient medium present in this petri plate. Right? So by using velvet cloth, again we transfer these two types of bacterial cells into the next petri plate. See here, next petri plate. Right? See like this. See here it is altered vector containing bacterial cells. Altered. These are unaltered vector containing bacterial cells. Okay, both of them undergoes binary fission, rapid binary fission, and forms colonies. Colony means group of bacterial cells. So by utilizing this nutrient medium, so both cells undergoes a rapid division, rapid multiplication, and binary fission, and forms colonies. Right? Then these bacterial cells also forms colonies. These bacterial cells also forms colonies. But see, the bacterial cells which contains rDNA molecule appears in colorless colonies. Colorless colonies. But what about the unaltered vector? That unaltered vector containing bacterial cells forms blue color colonies. Blue color colonies. Right? So unaltered vector containing bacterial cells appears in blue color, and altered vector containing bacterial cells appears in colorless, either white or colorless. White or colorless. Okay, right? So based on the color or based on the chromosome substance, easily we will identify what are recombinant cells, what are non-recombinant cells here. So now tell me, colorless colonies are recombinants or non-recombinants? Recombinants. But what about colored colonies, blue colored colonies, right? Unaltered vector containing bacterial cells, right? It means these are non-recombinants. That colored bacterial cells are non-recombinant cells. Colorless bacterial cells are recombinants. Desirable bacterial cells here is colorless colonies, and these are blue colored colonies are not required. Why? Because these are non-recombinant bacterial cells. But how we will identify some? See, when we will observe that bacterial cells under microscope, easily will separate blue color colonies and white color colonies. White color bacteria and blue color bacterial cells. Right? So what is the reason behind that? So colorless colonies, for the formation of colorless colonies and colored colonies. So already I told you. So that recombinant DNA containing bacterial cells loses beta galactosidase enzyme production. Right? So at the place of beta galactosidase enzyme sequence, foreign DNA inserted. It means that beta galactosidase sequence completely inactivated in recombinant cells. It means, so here that beta galactosidase enzyme completely absent. In colorless bacterial cells, beta galactosidase enzyme completely absent. Right? It doesn't convert lactose into glucose and galactose. And that too, those bacterial cells, in those bacterial cells, glucose and galactose is not there now. Right? That's the reason that bacterial cells not absorbs blue color. Right? And remaining bacterial cells, right? Unaltered vector containing bacterial cells, right, consists of beta galactosidase enzyme sequence. But as usual, that beta galactosidase enzyme sequence undergoes transcription, translation, and synthesizes beta galactosidase enzyme in these bacterial colonies. Right? So they converts lactose into glucose and galactose and absorbs blue color from the surroundings. Is it clear? Right. So like that. So some bacterial cells which contains unaltered vector turns into blue color. Some bacterial cells which contains recombinant DNA. It means altered vector turns into colorless colonies. Right? So based on the color or chromosome substance, easily will separate. Right? Based on the color, easily will separate what are recombinant cells, what are non-recombinant cells. Right? So by using microscope, easily will select recombinant cells for the further procedure, further recombinant DNA technology process. Alright. So for the further procedure, so we will collect recombinant DNA containing bacterial cells in this step. In this step, right? So that is in-session inactivation process. So by using in-sessional inactivation process, easily will separate recombinant cells from the non-recombinant cells. So compared to selectable markers, compared to antibiotic resistant genes or selectable markers, this procedure is easy. Right? This procedure is easy for the selection of recombinant cells. Alright. So note it down. Exgol medium is nothing but chromogenic substance or color substance. Just procedure enough, ma. Just flowchart is enough. Take on screenshots. Right. So now come to another method, third method. So this third method is not there in NCERT. Additional information, no? Colony hybridization. So now come to third method for selection of transformed cells from the non-transformed cells. Right, that is colony hybridization. Colony hybridization. So in this method, in colony hybridization method, we are using gene-specific probes. In this method, we are using gene-specific probes. What are probes? See, what is gene-specific probe? Probe is nothing but a small segment of single-stranded DNA or RNA molecule, right? So what is probe here? So probe is nothing but a small segment of single-stranded DNA or single-stranded RNA molecule. A small segment of single-stranded DNA or single-stranded RNA molecule is considered as probe. So that single-stranded DNA probe or RNA probe coated with radioactive substances. Coated with a radioactive substance. Radioactive substances. Right? And that too, that radioactive probe complementary to the one part of the, right, complementary to the any part of the foreign genetic material, right? So this radioactive probe complementary to the some part of the foreign DNA. Right? Any one of the part or some part of the foreign DNA. Right? So in this method, that radioactive probe tagged to the foreign genetic material. Again, that foreign genetic material inserted into the vector. For example, so you can take this as PBR322 vector. Alright. PBR322 vector as usual, ampicillin resistant gene, tetracycline resistant gene. Imagine. See, this is foreign genetic material. Right? Foreign gene or foreign genetic material. So we need to insert that foreign genetic material into the vector. right? So both of them treated with same type of genetic material, right? Then see, but before treating with restriction endonuclease enzymes, we tag radioactive probe. Only one strand now. Radioactive probe to the foreign genetic material. Foreign genetic material. Why? Because it is complementary to the either sides, either this side or this side, complementary to the foreign genetic material or original genetic material. Original genetic material. For example, so in this end, we tag that radioactive probe. Radioactive probe. So after that, we treated with restriction endonuclease enzymes. It resulted in the formation of same type of stick ends. Same type of sticky ends. For example, like this. So they form same type of sticky ends. And here also same thing. It resulting in the formation of same type of sticky ends. So this is radioactive probe. Radioactive probe. Right. Radioactive probe. Okay, right. So we inserted the radioactive probe containing foreign genetic material into the vector, and resulting in the formation of rDNA molecule. So it resulting in the formation of rDNA molecule. But that rDNA molecule exhibits a radioactivity, right? So that rDNA molecule exhibits radioactivity. So we inserted that rDNA molecule into host cell cytoplasm, and when we'll culture, so that bacterial cells on the nutrient medium in Petri plates, so easily we'll differentiate rDNA molecule containing bacterial cells from the normal cells. But how so? So based on radioactive probe, based on the radioactivity, based on the radioactive probe, easily we will separate. So recombinant DNA containing bacterial cells from the normal cells. Right. So in this way, by using colony hybridization technique also, easily we will separate recombinant DNA containing bacterial cells from the normal bacterial cells. Right. Note it down. Note it down. Completely additional. Colony hybridization. Just we tagged radioactive probe to the foreign genetic material, either this side or this side. Right? So we inserted that foreign genetic material into the vector. It resulted in the formation of rDNA. That rDNA exhibits radioactivity. Why? Because we inserted radioactive probe. Right? So again, transfer to the host cell cytoplasm. When we culture bacterial cells, so radioactivity containing bacterial cells are nothing but recombinant DNA containing cells. Remaining bacterial cells, normal cells, non-recombinant. So like that we will separate. Yes, take on screenshot, colony hybridization. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಡೌಟ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಸರ್ ಏನು ಸರ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಡ್ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ವಿತ್ ಆಲ್ಟರ್ಡ್ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಡ್ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ವಿತ್ ಅನ್ಆಲ್ಟರ್ಡ್ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಸೊ ಬೋತ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ನು ಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದಲ್ಲ ರೈಟ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದಲ್ಲ ಎಸ್ ಬಟ್ ಫುಡ್ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಸೊ ಅದು ರಾ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ರೈಟ್ ಟೂ ಟೈಪ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ 1000 liters so in that 1000 liters of raw material see 500 liters of raw material converted into desirable product by the rDNA containing bacterial cells, right? But what about remaining 500 liters of raw material not converted into desirable product? Why? Because that food material utilized by the normal bacteria, non-recombinant bacteria, right? So it means some amount of raw material, half of the raw material waste now. Right? That's the reason we selected only recombinant DNA containing bacterial cells for the further step. Next step, right? Right. Done. So now come to next step, that is obtaining foreign gene products. Obtaining foreign gene products. See, first step we isolated genetic material DNA. In second step, we fragmented that genetic material DNA by using restriction endonuclease enzymes. In third step, isolated, separated and isolated desirable DNA fragment, right? In fourth step, so the desirable DNA inserted into the vector. In fifth step, so that rDNA containing, right, foreign genetic material containing plasmid or rDNA molecule inserted into host cell cytoplasm. Fifth step, right? Then sixth step, selection of culturing of bacterial cells. Sorry. So sixth step, what it is? Selection of transformed cells from the non-transformed cells. Then seventh step. Seventh step, what it is? Seventh step, obtaining foreign gene products. Obtaining foreign gene products. Obtaining foreign gene product. Foreign gene products. Foreign gene products. So before that, I given another step also, but it is not there in NCERT. Before that, you have to write another step now. So that is culturing of bacterial cells on the nutrient medium. Culturing. See, we collected recombinant cells, right, from the non-recombinant cells. Those recombinant bacterial cells cultured on the nutrient medium, right? So that step is not there in NCERT, but better to write. So before obtaining foreign gene products, so we need to culture bacterial cells on the nutrient medium in large vessel-like structures, right? So before that, you have to write another step, right? Culturing of bacterial cells, selection of transformed cells from the non-transformed cells. After that, culturing of recombinant DNA containing bacterial cells. After that, obtaining foreign gene products. Obtaining foreign gene product. Okay, right? See, when we insert foreign genetic material into the vector, it resulting in the formation of rDNA. So that rDNA molecule again inserted into host cell cytoplasm. All right. So again, in that host cells, we need to select what are transformed cells, what are non-transformed cells. So after selection of transformed cells, after selection of recombinant cells, so that recombinant cells cultured on the nutrient medium. Cultured on the nutrient medium. Okay, right? So after culturing of nutrient medium, how we will separate desirable product or required product, we will see step by step, right? So don't confuse. First step is isolation of genetic material, DNA, right? So second step is fragmentation of that purified genetic material by using restriction endonuclease enzymes. Then third step, separation and isolation of desirable DNA fragment, right? Desirable DNA fragment, right? So that amplification and what it is, agarose gel electrophoresis comes under third step. Then fourth step is insertion of desirable DNA into vector. Then next step is insertion of rDNA into host cell cytoplasm. Next step, sixth one, selection of transformed cells from the non-transformed cells. Then seventh step again. What it is seventh step? It is not there in NCERT, but better to write. Seventh step is culturing of recombinant DNA containing bacterial cells on the nutrient medium. On the nutrient medium. Right? Before this, it is not there in NCERT, separate step. There is no separate step, but you have to write. Right? Seventh one, culturing of bacterial cells on the nutrient medium. On the nutrient medium, right? Done. Next one, obtaining foreign gene products. Obtaining or collecting that foreign gene product. See, whenever that recombinant DNA containing bacterial cells cultured on the nutrient medium along with foreign genetic material, along with the bacterial genetic material or plasmid genetic material, so that foreign genetic material also replicated or amplified. Clarity bartaida. Then now when madidi foreign genetic material inserted into the vector. Along with the vector genetic material, that foreign genetic material also amplified or multiplied in host cell cytoplasm. All right. So whenever the bacterial cell undergoes binary fission along with plasmid genetic material, so that foreign genetic material which we inserted also undergoes replication. It is also become double. See, after replication process, so the desirable DNA undergoes transcription and translation and synthesizes one particular protein. So we call it as desirable protein. Desirable protein, right? So now come to here. Ultimate aim of our DNA technology is to produce desirable protein, right? That ultimate aim of our DNA technology or our DNA procedure is to produce desirable protein. To produce desirable protein. To produce desirable protein. Right? That. See, to produce the desirable protein, right, we need to insert desirable gene into host cell cytoplasm, right? So here, that desirable gene in host cell expresses desirable gene in host cell expresses and produces desirable protein, right? See, for example, you can take whenever, so the desirable protein encoding gene expresses within the host cell, we call it as recombinant protein. If desirable gene expresses in a heterologous, right? Expresses in a heterologous host cell, we call it as recombinant protein. So why we call it as heterologous host cell? Why? Because hetero means different. So that different genetic material inserted into host cell cytoplasm. No, that's the reason we call it as heterologous host cell. But right, so when we insert desirable genes into the host cell cytoplasm, that desirable gene expresses in a heterologous host cell, right? We call it as recombinant protein. Confused already? So that a heterologous host cell, within the heterologous host cell, so that foreign genetic material expresses, it means it undergoes transcription and translation and synthesizes recombinant protein, right? Under favorable conditions, in suitable conditions or appropriate conditions. And one more thing, if we require in small scale, if we require the desirable product required in small scale, we culture it in laboratories, right? If we require the desirable product, either it is protein or enzyme or hormone, whatever it may be, if we require the desirable product in less quantity, very less quantity, right? So we cultured, otherwise we produced that product in laboratories in Petri plates, right? So in Petri plate, we cultured the bacterial cells for obtaining small quantity of desirable products. But what about large quantities? If we require large quantity of desirable product, so that bacterial cells cultured continuously on the nutrient medium, right? So continuous culture system, for example, we require it in large scale. So that desirable product required in large scale. So we cultured that bacterial cells in a continuous culture system. In a continuous culture system, right? Where we drained or separated, utilized product from one side, and where we add fresh medium from the another side, right? So for the active log or exponential phase of the bacterial cells, we are using that continuous culture system. Continuous culture system. See, if we require small scale or small quantity of desirable product, we are using laboratories, right? So for the culturing of bacterial cells on the nutrient medium in a petri plate, right? We culture the bacterial cells on the nutrient medium in petri plate for the production of small quantity of desirable products. If we require in large quantity, we culture the bacterial cells, right, in a large vessel-like structures in a continuous culture system, right, on continuous culture system where we add fresh medium from one side and utilize medium removed from the another side. It means bioreactors. We culture the bacterial cells in large vessel-like metal containers for obtaining large quantity of desirable product, right? So it maintains that continuous culture system maintains, right, that cells physiologically log. So it maintains that continuous culture system maintains the cells physiologically log or exponential phase or exponential growth or exponential phase. So don't confuse. So that continuous culture system, right, provides to the cells physiologically active log or exponential growth, right? So for the culturing of that bacterial cells, right, in large quantity, we're using large vessel-like metal containers. We call them as bioreactors. Right? So write down definition for this. What are bioreactors? So bioreactors are large vessel-like metal containers. So these are large vessel-like metal containers. Large vessel-like metal containers. Right? See, in industries, in alcoholic industries, we are using large vessel-like metal containers. No, we call them as bioreactors actually. So here also same thing. For the production of large quantity of desirable products, we are using large vessel-like metal containers. We call them as bioreactors. Right? So it cultures 100 to 1,000 liters of raw material. Right? It cultures 100 to 1,000 liters of raw material. So 100 to 1,000 liters of raw material biologically, right, with the help of bacteria converted into desirable product, right? That. See, why we are using bioreactors here, right? So that bioreactors biologically converts raw material, biologically converts raw material into desirable products or required products. Desirable products or required products. Desirable product or required products. And it is cylindrical structure. Again, I'll give the diagram, right? Cylindrical structure with curved base. Cylindrical structure with curved base. Cylindrical structure with curved base. Important. what is the use of that curved base saw? So that curved base facilitates mixing of reactor contents. Alright, so that curved base of the bioreactor helps in mixing of reactor contents properly, right? So it facilitates mixing of reactor contents properly, curved base, right? So now down. So it is nothing but simply what is the main aim or ultimate aim of the RNA technology? To produce desirable product, or desirable protein, or desirable enzyme, or desirable antibody, whatever it may be, hormone. So desirable gene expresses within the host cell. If desirable gene expresses in a heterologous host cell, we call it as recombinant protein. So if we need small quantity of desirable products, we culture the bacterial cells in laboratory in petri plate. If we require the desirable product in large quantity, we culture the bacterial cells in a continuous culture system, right, where we add fresh medium and where we remove, so that we utilize the medium, right, to maintain cells physiologically active log or exponential growths, right? So for the culturing of the bacterial cells, we are using bioreactors. What are bioreactors? These are large vessel-like metal containers, right? Metal containers. They helps in culturing of 100 to 1000 liters of culture, right? And what will happen in bioreactors? Biologically, right? Biologically, the raw material converted into desirable products, and that too, that bioreactor is cylindrical structure with curved base, right? So that bioreactor is cylindrical structure with curved base. So that curved base facilitates, important, that curved base facilitates mixing of reactor contents properly, right? Done. The diagram again I will give you. Next one. Next point regarding bioreactors. Done. So it means that bioreactor maintains optimum conditions. It maintains optimum conditions. Optimum conditions. So what type of optimum conditions? Optimum pH, optimum pH, optimum temperature, optimum pH, optimum temperature, right? Optimum salts, vitamins. So optimum temperature, optimum pH, optimum salts, vitamins, and substrates. Substrate, right? So the bioreactor maintains optimum conditions like optimum pH, optimum temperature, salts, vitamins, and substrates, right? And one more thing, that bioreactor has pH control system, right? Agitator system, then oxygen delivery system, right? Then agitator system, oxygen delivery system, pH control system, temperature control system, sampling ports, correct? Oxygen delivery system, temperature control system, pH control system, agitator system, and sampling port, right? So periodically we withdraw that raw material for the checking of culture right, where it is useful, that sampling port is useful, periodically withdrawn that culture for identification of that culturing or processing, right? So temperature as usual, it maintains optimal temperature. Oxygen is essential for the aerobic bacterial members for the binary fission. Hesitator system. So for the mixing of reactor contents properly, we use it has hesitator system and pH control system as usual. But because the bacterial replication or amplification requires optimum pH also, right? Right. So it maintains optimum conditions like optimum pH, optimum temperature, salts, vitamins, and substrate. And it has this pH control system also, hesitator system, oxygen delivery system, temperature control system, and sampling. So overall, bioreactors can be classified into two types. So these bioreactors are of two types. What are they? First one, simple stirred tank bioreactor. Simple stirred tank bioreactor. And second one is Sparged type of bioreactor. Sparged type of bioreactor. So first one is simple stirred tank bioreactor. Second one is Sparged type of bioreactor. So most commonly used bioreactors are simple stirring type of bioreactors. So most commonly or widely using bioreactor is simple stirring type of bioreactor. Right? Rarely we are using Sparged type of bioreactor also. But what about diagrammatic explanations of? So diagrammatic explanation regarding bioreactor we'll see in the next class, right? Just you have to write this information. What are bioreactors? Right? So how much raw material converted into desirable product? What is the capacity of that bioreactor? Right? So what will happen in bioreactor? Okay, right? So what is the structure of bioreactor? Right? So how they maintains optimum pH, what type of specialties we observed in that bioreactor, how many types of bioreactors are there, right? So this information we discussed, but diagrammatically, so that bioreactors information and overall RDNA procedure we'll see in tomorrow class, right?